Now, a memorial's been unveiled to the 78 soldiers who have died while on duty with the Royal Anglian Regiment since 1959. Hundreds of family members and friends of the soldiers attended the private event at the Imperial War Museum at Duxford in Cambridgeshire yesterday. Every name on the memorial was read out during the ceremony and wreaths were laid in their memory.
It's the first time we've brought together all the names of those who have fallen. And as we've seen here today, there's been an amazing response from the families who have been, those who have fallen. And I think having a single place where they can come to, where all those names are on a single piece of stone, is incredibly important.
Well, one man who believes some of those lives could have been spared is the former head of the army.
General Sir Richard Dannatt, who lives in Norfolk, has frequently spoken out over shortages of equipment in Afghanistan and the resulting impact on troops on the front line. Well,
even in retirement, he's continued to voice his concerns, now putting them on paper in his autobiography. Victoria Lampard went to meet him.
He's a long way from the front line, but the memories of war and the sacrifices our troops have made are never far from Sir Richard Dannatt's mind. As head of the army, he became well known for fighting the politicians in Whitehall to get the equipment needed for his soldiers.
What he's facing us most directly is the need to succeed in Afghanistan. And if that means there needs to be a modest increase in payment and expenditure on our land forces, that's not just the army, it's the Royal Marines, it's the helicopter part of the Air Force, the strategic airlift part of the Air Force. I think that's right for the time being.
What would you say to senior members of the Labour Party who said that you're just a spokesman for the Conservatives?
Well, I would say they would say that, wouldn't they? They don't know me from Adam. They don't know what I stand for, what the influences on my life have been.
In General Dannatt's autobiography, which is released later this week, he talks about troops being forced to travel largely by road in the heavily mined Helmand province because of a lack of helicopters after £1.4 billion of cuts. More than 300 soldiers have been killed in the war in Afghanistan, many from our region. Corporal Sarah Bryant killed by an IED, Lance Corporal Richard Brandon killed by an IED, Trooper Christopher Whiteside killed by an IED, Lance Corporal David Dennis also killed by an improvised explosive device. We were talking there of the lack of helicopters. If there had been more, do you think their deaths could have been prevented?
It's always difficult to say that because you don't know the circumstances of any particular tactical incident. I mean, the boards of inquiry do, but you and I are talking now. Obviously, we don't know. You can't make a direct link, but the probability is if we had more helicopters, then maybe some of those who have tragically lost their lives might not have done so.
A view that will be very difficult for the families who've lost loved ones to hear. Afghanistan is a conflict that's hitting the heart of small towns and villages like Stradbroke in Suffolk. Next to the names of Kenneth Cowling and Roland Lynes, who were killed in the Second World War, is now the name of Private James Grigg, a young man from the village who coached the school cricket team. He's named now by the memorial after being killed in an explosion in Helmand province earlier this year. The war, once again, leaving its mark on one of our communities. Born in Chelmsford in Essex, Sir Richard was appointed Chief of the General Staff in August 2006, a position he held for 3 years, and he's admitted it was a very difficult time to be in charge. Despite waning support for the war in Afghanistan, he says boosting morale is crucial.
When regiments come back to Norwich or to Durham or elsewhere, when the people come out on the street and clap and cheer, it's really good. And the servicemen, I know much, 10 feet tall, thinking, this is worth doing, but we mustn't forget the families and we mustn't forget the wounded.
Sir Richard believes we must see Afghanistan through. Whilst he's retired from the army, his focus now is on looking at ways to prevent conflicts in the future and the price so many people end up paying. Victoria Lampard, Anglia News, Norfolk.
Now, did you get out for a walk over the weekend? Did you get out for a walk over the weekend?
I have to say, I did actually. I'm rather keen on it actually. I had a bit of cricket on the Saturday and then a proper walk on the Sunday. Boris and Tiggy, the dogs, they were both out there every morning, in fact. I always try and get out.
We all know that walking is good for us, but how many of us actually get out there and do it?
Did you, more importantly, as well?
Coach to zoo all day.
Yeah.
My legs are killing me.
And on the bike as well, weren't you? Well, there are no excuses this month. ITV is launching its Walk for Life Day up and down the country and all over the east.
Yeah, and we'll have more details on how to get involved in just a few moments. But first, Kate Prout has been following a rather unusual walking group in Cambridge.
School's out at Waterbeach Primary, but there are no cars in sight because this is Walk to School week.
I like walking to school because it's fun and I've got a lovely parked place to walk through. If you walk, you can see like squirrels bouncing from tree to tree and you can hear the birds tweeting. I like to walk to school because I get to chat to my friends.
Walking is not only good for these youngsters, it's pretty good for their mums too.
I work from home and I walk here with them, I walk home with them, and I'm kind of ready for the day at the end of that, so they must feel the same, I figure.
Although it takes us an hour because it's just over 2 miles, it's brilliant. It's a great opportunity to talk on your way to school and just to actually look at what's around you.
Teachers at Waterbeach say those who walk to school are markedly different in class, more alert and more active.
During that Walk to School week, they actually noticed a marked difference in the children's engagement when they first came into lessons in the morning. So there was definitely a difference there. And they said that they were much more engaged. It was great to see.
Dr. Mike Napton runs walking sessions from his surgery in Cambridge.
Well, the health benefits are the first thing we're doing it for, really, which is to reduce people's risk of heart disease, blood pressure comes down, cholesterol comes down, lose a little bit of weight, which I could do with doing. Increases your bone mass, so it reduces the risk of osteoporosis. But actually, you shouldn't underestimate the social benefits as well. People make friends, they get on with people, and it's a social thing as well. And it's much easier to maintain your physical exercise programme if you're doing it with someone else.
Join us on the 26th of September, and there'll be plenty of people to walk with. Thousands around the country are taking part in our Walk for Life event, just 1 mile, to demonstrate that walking really is good for you. All we're asking you to do is just to change your routine a little bit. Despite what you might think, you only actually need to do half an hour of walking 5 days a week to keep everything ticking over. So instead of using the car to get to school or to the shops, use your feet instead. It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference. Kate Prout, Anglia News, Waterbeach in Cambridgeshire.
Having fun. I'm very impressed with the lady who walks for an hour.
Yeah, it was very impressive, wasn't it, actually? And plenty of good reasons there why we should be strapping on our walking boots and getting out there. Now, ITV's Walk for Life Day will be taking place across the country. That's on Sunday, September the 26th, as you can see right there. Now, that's not next Sunday, but it is the one after that.
Yeah, backed by the Department of Health's Change for Life campaign. It's one of a series of events designed to change people's lifestyle for the better to help improve the health of the nation.
Right, our website has more details. It's at itv.com/Walk for Life. Now, Kate, who we saw there in the report, along with Anglia Weather's very own Amanda Houston, will be doing ITV's Walk for Life Day. It's on September the 26th in Cambridge. Make sure they do that walk at a very good lick. Have a word with them if they're slowing up.
Yeah, join in. They're walking a mile from Mill Pond to Grantchester. Very pretty walk. To join them or to find your nearest walk, just log on to that website. The address, once again, www.itv.com/Walk for Life.
Brilliant stuff. Now then, we are fast approaching 6:30.